So now this is my first long video for this channel. We are going to run through a battle between this human paladin right there with the sword and the shield. It's level 1, comes with the standard level 1 stuff, and with the kobold right there. So kobold is a weak creature. I know that. I'm just beginning to learn D&D, and I'm going to solo play D&D on this channel, so I got a ways to go. And this is part of the process. I ran a battle between the two of these using AI. So that's where I got this information right here. And I'm going to use this experience reading through this battle to better learn D&D, especially the battling parts of it. So I restricted these two characters to being in a small room so that they won't use their thrown weapons. The paladin comes with 5 javelins, and as you can see, the kobold has a sling, so a dagger and a sling, and that's its typical armament, so it could change. But in any case, kobold's a weak creature. It's a challenge of 1/8, and I'm not sure what challenge level the paladin is meant to fight by himself. It looks like 1/8 is pretty weak. So maybe like 1/2 or something. It's like a fair fight or something. I'll see you later on. But in any case, we're going to run through what information I got. This is not everything that came with that AI run through of the battle. I kind of edited it out to keep the most important stuff, in my opinion. So now, I had the AI that I use basically develop my character, but I told it to give me a human paladin that is level 1 right there. And this is pretty much what you can expect from a level 1 human paladin. Although for what they say stats right here, they'll say ability in the player handbook. We got strength and charisma right there. It assigned those numbers. If you go through the player's handbook, you can get pre-selected numbers, or you could roll to get the numbers, and so on right there. So that number right there is the score. That's what they call it. Next to it is in parentheses. So you roll for those numbers, and then you assign the number to the ability that you want. So be aware of that. But in any case, this AI just gave me these numbers. Parentheses next to it, that number right there. What that is the modifier for strength for that particular one there. So you got the score for strength, and then the modifier for strength, which is based on the score. So there's a chart. Whatever ability you got that is 16 right there, the modifier will be +3, and so on right there. So we got charisma there. The AI assigned 14 for charisma, but since it's 14, the score, the modifier is 2, and so on. It also gave us a constitution of 14, which will help with health in later levels, higher levels. But for level 1, you start off with 10 health plus 2 because the constitution is 14, given a +2 modifier. So when you got first level, you get all of those 10 points right there. Later levels, you got to roll for how many hit points there are, but you roll a 10-sided dice. That's what it means. That's if it's a paladin right there. So be aware of that. So yeah, you got 10 plus whatever the constitution is. So when you're assigning numbers, give the constitution one of your higher numbers right there, because it's going to help with your health level. And again, so comes with the longsword right there, and also the paladin is proficient with longswords, so that's going to help later on. We'll come to that. Be aware of that. And so we have a shield. You don't have to use the longsword and shield. You could have the broadsword as well. So I think you'd have to buy that. And if you want heavier armor than chainmail, and I think you need a strength of 16 to carry plate or whatever, you can also buy that or whatever. Be aware of that. But we're just going to start with the generic. So as you can see, proficiency bonus, and this changes with what level your character is. But I think it is up to 5. It's like up to 4 or 5. Your proficiency bonus is +2. And then it will go up to +3 at higher levels, and so on. It'll keep going up. And we don't use Divine Sense. That's an ability that you can use while you're in battle. But we're not fighting any of these creatures, so we don't need to worry about it. We see the creature. We know where it is anyways. So Also, we can heal ourselves, although the AI didn't have to do that in this battle at all. This is a much stronger creature, apparently, than the Kobold. And so yeah, it's showing, laid out what your attack roll involves. So that's rolling a 20-sided dice, and then we have our strength modifier right there. Whatever number you got there, you add 3 to it, and then you also add the proficiency bonus, because we're using the longsword right there in our attack. And we got a proficiency of 2 right there. And so we got 3 plus 2 is 5. You add that to whatever the dice roll is, if you have to roll for attack. So if a DM says roll for attack, that's what that means right there. And then we got our damage there again. So part of the damage is your strength modifier right there. You got 3, and then you roll an 8-sided dice. Whatever the results of that roll is, you add 3 to it, and that will be the damage. So now, everything you see here for the Kobold comes from the monster manual. I'm using the 5th edition right there. So the armor class, how tough it is basically is 12. It's a weaker creature. Hit points, you can, roll here a couple dice and then subtract 2 from the results. But the average number of hit points will be 5. So you can just go with 5 if you want. And you can always do that. You can always just run with the averages if you want to simplify things. And then they gave you the dexterity there. That'll come up of 15 with the modifier of 2 and so on. So the attack, you can see the chance to hit and the piercing right there. We will come to that later. I don't have a good explanation for those. But yeah, they have abilities, so the pack tactics do not apply here because there's only one of them. If you got more than one, you'll get a bonus to attack rolls. So you'd have to check the book to see what that. And then we got the movement. Again, I'm just putting them in a small room. That's what I told the AI. And so since it's a small room, it doesn't matter what their movement is. So now, in the situation I set up, we got these 2 characters in a room. They're going to fight. There's no avoiding it, so we don't have to worry about any of that. Now, they both know they're going to fight, and so we get to see who's quicker at the draw, basically. And so we're going to have to roll that, a 20-sided dice, but each character here has a dexterity modifier to add to that dice. Maybe subtract if your dexterity is low enough. But in any case, the AI gave the human paladin there a dexterity of 10, which gives it a modifier of 0. So we're not going to add anything to our roll. We're going to be stuck with our roll. So it rolled a 12 right there for our paladin, and we don't have any dexterity modifier to add to that. So we are stuck with 12. The Kobold, however, has a dexterity modifier of 2 right there. And so that's going to be added to its roll, and it rolled a 14 and then added the dexterity modifier of 2. So ultimately, the final roll was 16 right there. The Kobold has a higher roll than the Paladin, so the Kobold gets to act first. So now we roll for the Kobold's attack, and the printer kind of screwed up here. I haven't used it in a while, so I don't think it printed as great as it could. But in any case, we have a 20-sided dice roll since it's attack, and if you get 20, that means you're going to hit no matter what. If you get 1, you're going to miss no matter what. Be aware of that. But in any case, we're going to roll the dice right there, and we're going to add 4 because you got your dexterity modifier for the Kobold. Dexterity score is 15, which gives it a modifier of +2, and the proficiency. So the Kobold is used to using the dagger right there. So you get a proficiency of +2 because of its low level character. So in any case, just be aware of that. That's all info in the character description of the monster manual. But whatever number we get here has to be higher than the armor class of what it is attacking right there. So we have a paladin with chainmailed and a shield. So compared to the Kobold, quite a bit of armor right there. So the dice roll was 9, but then you add the dexterity and dexterity modifier and the proficiency bonus, each one +2 for a total of 4. So it rolled a 9 +4. It got 13, which is lower than the 18 armor class of the paladin. So I deflect the dagger with my shield. And the AI explained a bit more of what happened here. So basically, relatively high AC right there. The armor class of the Paladin made it so that we only had about a 30% hit chance right there. And since there was no hit, there was no damage. So now it's the Paladin's turn to act in this round. So a round is a 6-second period in the game. It takes a lot longer to play it out in real life, but everything that we're doing in this example is within a 6-second period. So Paladin's turn. Of course, he's going to attack right there with the longsword. That's the weapon that he's carrying right there to attack the Kobold. And again, you roll the dice now. We make an adjustment to that dice roll of 5. So the strength is 16 for this Paladin, which gives it a modifier of 3. And it comes with the longsword. They know how to use that. So since it's a low-level character, you get a proficiency of +2 to what you're proficient with. So +2 plus 3 is 5 right there. That's what that number is saying. So you roll that. And the Kobold's armor class is 12. So these two numbers have to be higher than 12 right there. And so it rolled 17, rolled 12 actually, +5 for 17. We should clear that up right there. And it is, you know, blurry. The printer kind of made it blurry, but should be able to read that. So yeah, in any case, 17 is higher than 12 right there. And so we got a hit. Now we got to see how much damage that caused. So apparently the longsword is a roll of a 8-sided dice right there. And one 8-sided dice. So you just take that number. And then again, we have the strength modifier of 3. You add that to whatever the result was. So the AI rolled a 5 right there, adding the 3 modifier, strength modifier right there, for a total of 8. And so it did 8 slashing damage to that Kobold. And the Kobold has 5 hit points, unless you're really lucky and you rolled like a higher number. But the average is a 5 right there. So -8 means it is 3 points in the deficit when it comes to the hit points right there. So yeah, we killed it right there. And yeah, here's you know, another explanation right there. So 70% hit chance right there. So you know, that's about it. So in any case, again, I'm just beginning to learn the game, and the combat is you know, pretty intense. Reading all the things you can do in combat, plus these attack rolls and damage rolls and stuff. All this stuff is kind of complex right there. So for practice, I am you know, just kind of running things through AI right there. And so any informative stuff, I plan to make videos right there. So I'm still in the learning stage of this, as I assume people who want to learn how to solo D&D by themselves are in the learning stage. So hopefully I can explain it better than somebody where this all seems really easy. So in any case, thanks for checking out the video. And I don't think, yeah, I can post other stuff now. Check out one of the links I posted on the screen, and check out links down below. They all help out a lot. I'll see you in the next video.